Hello everyone, it's Wendy Ellen, and this is an off-the-cuff video again. So I have a lot of ideas going through my brain right now, and I tend to talk in kind of circles or spirals. So please just bear with me because I really want to get this information on a video right away. So, okay, so to preface everything, I have always been very interested in maintaining really good physical health. I'm someone that has never adhered to the ideas that we are to grow old, get sick, and then die. And degenerative diseases to me are not normal. They are not a normal part of aging. They're all preventable. And this is all according to me, to what I think. And I believe that we should be able to live hundreds of years, and that maintaining our optimal physicality is crucial and doable. And there's a lot that goes into this that I was not initially aware of, having to do with energy. Because to me, everything is wave, vibration, frequency, energy, like Nikola Tesla says, and a lot of people, and these are not new ideas. You can do your own research on that. And so I've always tried to eat pretty healthy for the most part, take care of myself. And as time has gone by, I've learned to heal myself of a lot of different things via supplements and lifestyle changes, blah, blah, blah. Now I use energy to heal myself, and I'm never sick. And if I have any type of injury or any type of discomfort or something that I don't feel is something that's emotional or mental that needs to be cleared, like cellular memory type of stuff, if it's, I feel like a pure physical thing, then I can heal that. And I do it quickly and usually immediately right away. So that's just an area that I've gained success in. But I am very aware that there are things that we are not cognitively aware of. Number one reason is because we can't look inside of our bodies with our eyes right now. I can't yet. And, our skin basically prohibits us from doing that. So it's like, we don't really have an accurate depiction of what our cellular structure, our tissue structure, our interstitial fluids, our, our fascia, just all the different things that are in our bodies. We don't really know what they, quote unquote, look like because we haven't seen them. Or I haven't seen mine, so I'll try to talk in first person. So anyway, about a year ago, maybe a little before that, I just really kept feeling prompted to start detoxing. And so I slowly started detoxing and eating cleaner. At different times, I had been drinking alcohol off and on, smoking cigarettes. I still do smoke cigarettes. I'm going to be very blatant and honest in this video. I don't have anything to hide. And I've cut that back a lot. And this is a huge topic, so I'm going to try to not drag this video out because there's so many different things to go into in reference to what I'm getting ready to talk about. And it's very interesting to study habits, because habits generally are not always conquered just by willpower or just by a change of environment or a change of location or a change of the people you surround yourself with, that kind of thing. Those things can assist, certainly. But this is a saying that I've said a lot to different people when I've helped them with any type of wellness stuff, like, you gravitate toward what's familiar. And it just dawned on me earlier, a whole nother level of that. Like, why do we gravitate toward what's familiar as far as food is concerned and the body is concerned? So I had been having some stomach disturbances off and on. And so earlier I laid down. I wasn't tired, but I laid down and just started, my body just prompted me lay down. And so I was like, okay, so this is not a story I'm going to get into in a major way, but I laid down and I was aware that I needed some cellular cleansing as far as memories and some traumatic experiences, one being a 24-hour shift I just worked and where something really awful happened. And so I laid down and I listened to some brainwave entrainment, and boy, did I get some information, buddy. So during that time where I was laying down and listening to the brainwave entrainment, I am not someone that has, I've studied the chakras. I've not been someone that's practiced anything intentionally about the chakras because for me, I have not found information that I feel like is coherent or that is applicable to me that resonates with me. I'm aware of the chakras. I'm aware of the chakras in my body. I've done maybe some small things, but I don't have a complete enough picture for me to be able to say, this is what I'm going to do intentionally with my chakras. I do believe that will come, but it's just not something that I've utilized as part of my holistic practice or my health practice or wellness practices for myself yet. So anyway, I was listening to some brainwave entrainment. My body prompted me to listen to something that's new that I've not listened to before. So I was listening to J.S. Epperson. He's on YouTube. And my body said, listen to some brainwave entrainment you haven't listened to before. So he had this thing on the chakras. And I was like, okay. Well, when I went to go touch the screen because I was laying down, I wanted to listen to all of them, but I accidentally touched the solar plexus one first. And so I was like, okay, so I'll just listen to the whole thing, let it run the gamut. And so I did, and I had some amazing experiences and some amazing information. I call them uploads, not downloads, because I believe it just comes from me. So anyway, I realized, based on the information myself was giving myself, that spending a lot of time bringing coherency to this brain, which I desperately needed, and I'm working on that, but I've had a great measure of success with it. My life is totally different since I've started listening to brainwave entrainment. My body showed me that the brain and the gut mirrors this brain, and I need to bring coherence to the gut brain. So, and gave me some ways to do that, which I'm not going to go into in this video. So anyway, I started thinking about that, and I was looking on YouTube, and I'm not someone that usually just sits and watches a whole lot of YouTube. I have gone through phases where I've done that and gleaned a ton of information, and I think it's great to listen to stuff from all different kind of genres or anything, even if it's not something that doesn't quote unquote resonate, because I think there's information to be gained from everything. And just because you watch something doesn't mean you have to embrace all the ideas. And I'm not afraid to watch anything because I have choices. I can choose. Just because I listen to it or see it doesn't mean that it's going to stay with me if I choose for it not to, or affect me in any type of negative way. So anyway, so shout out to, I think it's pronounced Sevan, not Savan, Sevan Bomar, Bomar. Now, I've watched a lot of this gentleman's stuff in the last 4 or 5 years. Most of it has just literally gone shoot right over my head. Yep. And I have gotten a lot of good information from him, but I'd say 60 to 80% of it just is like, I don't really understand what you're talking about, but it resonates. It resonates for me, a lot of it. So anyway, I hadn't watched anything of his in a while. There's this really short video that I recommend, and it's called The Aliens Living Inside of You, and I think he just posted it today, which would be October 5th, 2020. So he watched that video. I think it's a 5-minute video. So anyway, the topic of this video is everybody's favorite topic, which is internal parasites. So here I go talking in circles or spirals. So anyway, so back to me wanting to detox and cleanse. And so I found that in detoxing and cleansing, which my body gravitates toward healthy stuff. And many times it is me consciously choosing, but I would rather have a big old fat juicy bowl of greens, just plain greens. I don't care if it's Swiss chard, collards, kale, whatever, rather than eat a big fat hamburger. That's just me. It's like I'm just not naturally attracted or drawn to meat. I'd rather have any type of fruit or vegetable pretty much any day of the week. I'm not really that drawn towards sweets or breads. And that could be just because of years of not eating that consistently, or just my body type. Don't really know, but it's been pretty easy for me to eat healthier. At times it hasn't been, and I've had to practice willpower and discipline. But, when you're doing things like drinking a lot of alcohol, man, it's really detrimental. That sugar is not good, and I'll explain why in a minute. But anyway, so back in high school again, I'm pretty sure it was high school, might have been my early 20s. I ran across a study, and so this is the best of my recollection, and there have been many, many, many studies on this, and I just know a small, tiny portion of this information. So anyway, in this study, I believe they took 48 healthy men and 48 healthy women, and they wanted to see if most people have parasites, and I think specifically for this study, it was Americans. So they laid them down on their sides, and they hadn't eaten, I don't think, for like 6 hours, 12 hours. And so what they did was 1 inch from their mouth, they took 1 teaspoon of raw hamburger, and they laid them on their sides and put that 1 teaspoon of raw hamburger an inch from their mouths. And over 90% of those people had parasites come up from their intestines and go to that hamburger. Now, how nasty is that? It's pretty nasty. So I say that if you are eating a tad of the American diet, if you are eating a tad, the typical American diet, then you probably have parasites, especially if you eat meat. And I don't care if it's cooked or not. That's pretty obviously irrelevant when you look at all of the studies and research and the conditions of people's bodies. I don't like blanket statements. I don't think everything is applicable to everybody, but I feel safe in saying that if you eat the typical American diet, you have parasites. I don't know how you can avoid them. And it's not just with meat that you can get them. You can get them off of greens from the grocery store. You can get them off of fruit from our country and other countries. So anyway, so I've been aware of parasites. I've done different cleanses throughout the years. Some years more consistently than others. I've seen all the pictures and videos and read books about all the disgusting things that people crap out when they're doing cleanses. Even things like 12-inch long fecal casings that look like linked sausage that have been shaped and formed to the intestinal wall that people crap out. One was laying in the bathtub, and the lady said, "My husband truly was full of shit." So gut health is huge. Most adult Americans are carrying around between 5 and 25 pounds of undigested or whatever, I'm not even going to say that, fecal matter in their gut that is putrefying, that is recirculating through their bodies. And we wonder why we're sick and get degenerative diseases. It's a no-brainer. And on top of that, knowing that you have parasites, do you not think that parasites put off their own waste? When they're eating your nasty fecal matter, when they're feasting on that sugar that you eat, when you are eating a lot of white flour, what is it? When you mix white flour and water, what do you get? Paste. You not think that's sticking in your gut? And on top of that, most of the time it's bleached white flour. There's so many videos I could make off this right now about how we bleach everything and then we ingest it. Wow, that's super nasty too. Do you not think? So anyway, I'm going to try to hold this still. Okay, so anyway, So he was had this video, and it's really good. I would encourage you to go watch that. So if you're in the esoteric world at all, you may have heard this hundreds of times like I have, as above, so below. Well, I started thinking about this just like a half an hour ago. What if it's as below, so above? I mean, after all, the sky reflects off of the water, true? Right? And besides that, in the human body, when you look at something, I learned this in middle school. When you look at something, your brain, when everything that we see is upside down, the brain flips it. Yeah. So as above, so below, we do live in an inverted reality. So there's a lot that we could talk about with that. So anyway, instead of as above, so below, and we're a little speck in the cosmos, we're a tiny dot in the universe, what if we are the universe? What if the universe is inside of us? And what if we're projecting the outward and we're creating what we see outwardly with mass consciousness, with our own consciousness, and with everybody adhering to the same idea? We're creating this matrix. That's a lot to think about. So all that to say is that what goes on inside of your universe, your body, your gut, is huge. If that's true. And even if it's not, it's just huge for you. Because if you've got a ton of parasites in your body feasting off of your food, everything is wave, vibration, frequency. Do you not think those parasites are vibrating? Seven talked about this. And I have actually thought about this before. Like, why do we gravitate? What makes us crave? And I'm like, okay, the parasites make us crave. Why? Why do we gravitate toward a certain restaurant repeatedly, toward a certain candy shop, towards your refrigerator, your ice box? Why do we gravitate towards certain people that we have pizza with every Friday night? Those kinds of things. Those parasites are intelligent. They're alive. They're sentient. They're wise. After all, they stay in your body forever, for years, right? They colonize. They have their own babies. They have their own families. I almost died from a parasite infestation. Literally almost died from one. I was so close to death's door that the pastors brought my kids in there to tell me goodbye. True story. So, and by the way, if you have parasites, they're cyclical. They lay their eggs on a full moon. So if they're checking your butt or checking your stool for eggs to decide if you have parasites, if they're not doing that in a 3-day window with a full moon, they're not going to see the eggs, and they're going to tell you you don't have parasites. That's just a huge medical tip. I almost died because I didn't know that. So anyway, I have been wanting to go to not just vegetarian or vegan. I'm not into the goofy vegan vegetarian, and I'm mad at the whole world because they eat meat and abuse animals. Even though I think that's true. I think it's awful, the treatment of animals and what we do. Oh, and people, I'm an animal lover. You know, don't look at my dog cross-eyed. I'll jump your junk. But I'll sit down and eat a big fat steak from an animal that had a horrible life and that was tortured, just so I can fill my belly with a big old fat yummy steak past the A1. That's hypocritical. I love animals. I love nature. Do you? Food for thought. Okay, so that was a little rant, was it not? So when talking about parasites in the body, let's see if I can get back on track. Hello, can I spiral back around again? If you love your own body, don't you want to know what's in your body and how it's operating? And about these parasites that lay their eggs on a full moon that can colonize in your body and proliferate like mad? If you don't have a good balance between the good and bad bacteria in your body, the bad bacteria, parasites, is winning. And if you're constantly destroying any good bacteria as it proliferates, you're not standing a chance with your health. You're probably full of yeast, fungus, candida, and it's proliferating. Those are all forms of parasites. So, just something to think about. I personally don't think, I'm reading Man's Higher Consciousness, And I've been thinking about this for many, many moons, for many years, about being breatharian. I really am convinced that we do not need food and drink outside of our own bodies. I have practiced urine therapy before when I had the parasites, and I feel like it did help me get well. I practiced that for longer than I let people know because it freaks people out. I didn't like the idea of drinking my own urine, but at the time it seemed right and it helped me. And so I think that our bodies are self-sufficient, that they have everything that they need to be self-sufficient. If you think of us like a battery, a human battery, which we are, the heart is magnetic, the brain is electric. We should be self-sufficient batteries in drawing what we need from the ether, from the earth. We should be drawing magnetic and electrical things from outside of us, not taking food from outside of us, because the cells of the body, food does not feed your cells. So you can look all this up, do your own research. This is what I think for me. These are my observations, what resonates with me, my knowings for me. It could be that you're totally different, like I said in my other videos. But I think that it's worth looking into, to think about how much food do you need? How much food are you consuming? Is what you're consuming going to be beneficial for you and your body? Do you have parasites? If you do, are you willing to try and do some cleanses to get rid of them? I eat far less than the average person. Sometimes I eat a lot more than the average person, but I'm eating differently. But I eat far less than the average person when I'm clean of parasites, or have less parasites, let's put it that way. Because those parasites, I don't have to feed them. It's like you're carrying around a whole gut full of pet parasites. It's gross. Think about it. They're going they're hosting off of you. They're hosting off of you. And people are worried about alien parasites from the outside that are looshing off of our negative energy, which I think could be very true. I've written Facebook posts about this. But do they have a connection to the inner parasites? I mean, if everything resonates, if they're intelligent too, I mean, telepathy to me should be normal among humans. Do you not think it's normal among animals? Are the deer speaking words to each other in the woods? No, they're not. Are the trees speaking to each other? Oh no, they have a whole network underground, and they can communicate with trees hundreds of miles away. So it's a lot to think about. To stimulate ideas and food for thought. Feed your parasites food for thought, not literal food. So anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say right now. Just think about it. Ask yourself, and be willing to entertain new ideas. Be willing to do something different. I do know that everything is not just willpower. I do know that energy, things are in toroidal patterns, and that if you have a bunch of parasites living in your gut, they have their own energy fields. And if they're hungry, they have consciousness too, so they're communicating with you. So they are going to communicate with you to go to the bakery, to go down this aisle at the store. They're hungry, and they love to eat sugar and shitty food, sugar and crappy food. That's what they love to eat. So it's like you've got a bunch of babies inside of you going, "Mommy, Mommy, feed me. Daddy, Daddy, I want the big bag of M&Ms. Mommy, get the cinnamon rolls." Seriously, that's how I see it. Anyway, I hope everyone thinks about this, and I hope everyone has an excellent night. Bye.